I, Anand Vardhan, a faculty at School of Heritage, welcome all of you, all the learners and listeners. Friends, I will discuss today the history and significance of South Indian cities. In the last lecture, we have discussed already the significance of North Indian cities. Objective of the above said lecture is to understand the archaeological history of ancient South Indian cities, their architectural value, cultural heritage and importance for national and international tourists. I mean that how these places of historical significance attract a great number of tourists. In previous lecture, we discussed comprehensively early cities of South India. In this discussion, we will focus on historical cities including important religious towns and places of pilgrimage. You are acquainted with the fact that South India remained under Hindu kings for a long time. Therefore, temple towns were well protected and were restored by successive Hindu dynasties. This is the primary reason a tourist may find a great number of living temples in far south, contrary to the fact that towns of ancient era belonging to northern India mainly yielded archaeological relics. We have therefore magnificent towns in entire south like Mahabalipuram, Kumbhakonam, Thanjavur, Kanchipuram, Madurai, Halabid, Hampi, etc. Now we will discuss a few important cities known for their precious heritages. The first site that we are taking is an important Buddhist site named Amravati. It is on the right bank of river Krishna. It occupies a preeminent position in the history of Indian art. It is situated about 35 kilometers to the north of the town of Guntur, which is the headquarters of the district of the same name in Andhra Pradesh. Besides being the nearest railway station, government transport buses can be found here on regular basis from Guntur to Amravati. Moreover, during rainy season and winter, Amravati can be reached from Vijayawada itself. We have at this place excavated stupa site that are of immense archaeological significance. Here we have an archaeological museum also that reveals the archaeological history of the place. The place is famous also as a pilgrim center on the account of the location of the Amareshwara temple, which gives the present name to the locality. Its neighboring village Dhanikot was the actual site of the ancient Dhanyakatak, the capital of the later Satavahanas. Visitors who intend to have an overnight halt at the town may reserve accommodation by prior application in the rest houses maintained by District Public Relation Officer Guntur. So, for tourists, this is a very important place to discover a lot of archaeological relics, and in this context we will see how discovery and excavation of this interesting place had taken place. Amravati is locally known as Deepal Dima. It was surveyed by Colonel Colin Mackenzie as early as 1797. A year earlier, a local landlord had changed his residence from Chintapalli to Amravati and laid the foundation of the modern township around the Amareshwara temple. Many people at his invitation settled in this area, and the building activities that started thereafter resulted into a disaster as local people carried away a lot of building material from the historical mound itself. And this is one of the reasons that a great part of this historic place was destroyed. Mackenzie revisited the place in 1818 with a hand of assistants for preparing detailed drawing of the site and the monuments of this place. A few sculptured pieces were also recovered by him. After Mackenzie's discovery of the Mahachaitya site, several European officers took interest in collecting sculptures from Amravati. It was another, you can say, endeavor of recovering object that resulted into a disaster. Robert Seville and James Burgess also visited the site, and they collected very good number of sculptures from the site of the Mahachaitya that was made in late Satvahana period and thereafter. As a matter of fact, the recent operation during the year 1958-59 under R. Subramaniam and K. Krishnamurthy of the Archaeological Survey of India brought to view a large number of inscribed architectural pieces, sculptured fragments, reliquaries and other minor antiquities, including sculptures and relief ascribable to early medieval times. Some more inscribed and sculptured slabs were exposed in an excavation carried out by I.K. Sharma in 1973 and 74. Dhanyakatak, the fortified capital of the Satvahana, was also excavated during the year 1962 to 65. M. Venkatramana and K. Raghavachari excavated the place, and it revealed 5 periods of occupation of the site. On the basis of radiocarbon dates, one may easily date beginning of settlement there to 5th century BC. Sculptures from Mahachaitya site are distributed over several museums of India, and bulk of these sculptures can be seen in Government Museum, Chennai. We can also find sculptures of Amravati in British Museum, London itself. In addition, there are a few antiquities from the nearby places which have been preserved in local archaeological museums. Shravanvel Gola is another important site which is very significant for tourists. It is in Chandrayapatan Taluk of Hassan district of Karnataka. Shravanvel Gola is a small town of 5,000 population with an area of less than 2 square kilometer. Although sandwiched between two rocky hills, the smaller one known as Chandragiri or Chikkabetta and the larger one as Vindhyagiri or Indragiri, it is known for scenic beauty, and this place is undoubtedly has a beautiful panorama around it. The town derives its name from the words Sramana in Sanskrit meaning ascetic, and Belgola, Belakola in Kannada meaning white tank corresponding to Dhavala Sarovar in Sanskrit. The importance of Shravanbelgola lies in its being one of the holiest Jain pilgrimage centers, where the world's tallest statue carved out of a single rock stand as the summit of 143.2 meter in, it is 143.2 meter in height. Shravanbelgola can boast of having 37 temples of varying sizes and 525 inscriptions in 3 different languages and scripts, throwing light on the history of the place from 3rd century BC to 18th century AD. Apart from monuments on the hills which range in date from 8th to 16th century, there is a Jain monastery in the town known for its 17th, 18th century wall painting. besides two temples, one dedicated to Chandranath and the other to Parshvanath. We have magnificent images all around the existing temple, and this is a very interesting and abiding tourist place in Karnataka, especially for followers of the Jain religion. We have taken another important urban center from South India. The name of the place is Madurai. Friends, Madurai is the ancient home of Tamil culture. It is the seat of the famous temple dedicated to Meenakshi and Sundareshwar, Lord Shiva, a charming city enriched by the waters of the sacred Vaigai. It is the greatest attraction for every tourist who visit the South India. This temple was made in Pandyan period, perceptually by a Pandyan princess who married Lord Shiva. The sight of the majestic towers, a cluster of small and large temples, vimanas, make this place very, very attractive, as it is customary to worship first Devi Meenakshi and then Lord Sundareshwar. People enter the temple through the Astha Sakti Mandapam on the eastern street. Astha Sakti Mandapam, over the entrance of the Astha Sakti Mandapam, is found in the sculptural representation of the wedding Meenakshi. The images of Ganesh, Subramaniam are seen on either side. The mandapam is also called after the figure of 8 Shaktis represented on the pillars on the two sides. On the walls are seen painting and sculptured figures depicting scenes from Thiruvillayadal Puranam. The figures of the 4 great Shaivite saints adorn the mandapam of the eastern end. Meenakshi Nayakan Mandapam is another magnificent piece of architecture. It has 5 aisles separated by 6 rows of stone pillars on which are carved yalis, griffins, and different kinds of attractive motifs, floral designs and figures. Moodali Pillai Mandapam, a splendid Chitra Gopuram, invites us to the Mudali Pillai Mandapam, also known as Dark Mandapam. Of the numerous carving here, the figure of Bhikshadanar, of the infatuated wife of the rishis of Thiru, Gavana and Mohini, are the most outstanding images of this particular mandapam. We have golden lotus tank. We pass from the dark mandapam to the beautiful sacred Potra Marrai Kulam, golden lotus tank. According to tradition, Indra bathed in the tank in the order to purify himself of his sin and worshipped Lord Shiva with golden lotus flower. On the pillars of the northern corridor are figures of 24 poets of the third Tamil Sangam, figures of Dhananjayan, the merchant who discovered the main shrine in the forest of Kadambavanam, and of the Kulsekhara Pandyan who built the temple and the city, are also seen on 2 pillars of this corridor. On the walls of the northern and eastern corridors are numerous paintings depicting scenes from Thiruvillayadal Puranam. From the eastern corridor, we can see the golden domes over the sanctum sanctorum of Meenakshi Sundareshwar temple. We have another significant city in South India. This city is known as Mahabalipuram. It is also called Mamallapuram. It is a port city with alluring monuments of the Pallava period. There are mandapas, rathas and structural temples all over the town. Mandapas are rock cut temples hewn out in hillocks Rathas are monolithic shrines. It is known as the city of 5 pagodas because we have 5 monolithic temples named after the heroes of Mahabharata. The town is known for its shore temples. Also, these temples have a pyramidal superstructure called Vimana. Among mandapas, Trimurti cave is very famous. Near it, on a rock surface, the scene from Sanskrit epic Kirata Arjuniam called Penance of Arjuna is depicted in a very lively manner. The biggest monolithic temple is the Yudhishthira Rath. This is the first example of a double-storied shrines. This is a World Heritage Site where exist workshops of masons who do traditional carving work. Mahabalipuram is known for living tradition of craftsmanship. The workshop of masons are very significant for tourists because you can see here the ancient technology of rock carving and making different images. In South India, there are many beautiful temple towns. Among them, there is a place named Tanjore. It was the capital of the imperial Cholas. It is famous all over the world for Brihadiswara temple, also called Rajeshwara Kovil. It has the highest superstructure in entire South India. It is made within a fortified area. The temple complex is considered as the museum of architecture by art historians and archaeologists. Apart from Chola temples, there are temples of Vijayanagar and Nayak period made within the fortified complex of Chola temple called Brihadiswara temple. Tanjore is also a World Heritage Site. Near this city, there is another temple town called Kumbhakonam. It has a large sacred pond famous for Mahamakam festival. This town has famous Ramaraswamy temple that is dedicated to Lord Rama. Close to this city, Tanjore, there is a place known as Swami Mallai. It is very famous for making bronze images. Another sacred town of South India, which is widely known for silk production, is Kanchipuram. Kanchipuram is a magnificent town adorned with Pallav, Chol and Vijayanagar architecture. The Kailashnath temple is the best shrine of the Pallava period. We have many other shrines situated in the city like Varadaraj Perumal and Vaikunt Perumal. We have also Ekambareshwara temple and Kanchipuram Shankar Mutt, supposed to be established by Adi Shankaracharya. The first Shankaracharya. The city has been famous as a trading and production center of silk. It was the most famous industrial town of ancient South India right from the period called Sangam age to Pallava period, from Pallava period to Chol period, and from Chol period to Vijayanagar and Nayak period, and the tradition has endured up to our age. Among the significant South Indian temple town, the Kanchipuram as a city is of great significance. We have done a specific study of Varadarajaswamy temple that controlled several villages, maintained gardens, also helped shepherds and peasants in their traditional work by giving them loan. This is the true story of Brihadeshwar temple, Tanjore also, that has more than 900 temple functionaries which worked for temple. This temple also gave donation to peasants and shepherd, and in that way temples played very important role in the development of this society. You will be surprised to know that many of the temples in South India played significant role in development of agriculture, development of canals, development of roads, development of towns. They imparted education, they also imparted justice to the people. Temples also functioned as banks and they gave loan to the common people. It is also remarkable that the functions of temples have been beautifully inscribed on their walls. So friends, now it is now time to sum up this lecture. In this lecture on historic towns of South India, we have discussed about a very good number of important religious places which were also great trading centers. One thing you must realize, that a place earns religious significance once it emerges as an industrial town. It happened with Madurai, it also happened with Kanchipuram. The historic towns of South India were trading centers as well as places of pilgrimage for all of us. For example, both Madurai and Kanchipuram have been famous for cotton and silk products. All the towns reveals to us successive development of architecture in different period. We have elaborately discussed that how right from Pallava period to Vijayanagar period, at place like Tanjore and Kanchipuram, great temples were erected. The South Indian temple towns are places of eminent importance for the tourist, as they consist of magnificent living temples, forts and palaces of Dravidian style. Apart from that, for tourists, they offer many traditional items. These items are excellent example of ancient Indian craftsmanship and a continuing tradition of craftsmanship. We can say these temple towns have just not preserved the great heritage of India, but also the tradition of its art, craft, dance, drama and music. This is the reason, apart from archaeological remains, they are significant in terms of intangible heritages also. Thank you very much.